Welcome back, Cowboys Nation, and thank you for being here today as we dive deep into one of the most important conversations surrounding this team right now. With this channel rapidly approaching that massive 250,000 subscriber milestone, this feels like the perfect moment to step back, take a breath, and honestly assess where the Dallas Cowboys stand, what is holding them back, and what absolutely must change if this season is going to be remembered for something other than frustration and wasted potential. What we are seeing on the field week after week is not a lack of talent. It is not a roster devoid of ability. It is a collection of issues rooted in execution, decision-making, and a failure to adapt when reality starts exposing cracks in the plan. One of the most glaring problems haunting this team all season long sits right in the middle of the defense, and that is the linebacker position. Kenneth Murray has been a constant presence on the field, and on paper, his stat line looks respectable. 73 tackles jumps off the page, and for casual observers, that might suggest productivity. But Cowboys fans who actually watch the games know better. Tackles alone do not define impact. In fact, leading the team in tackles can often mean the defense is spending far too much time reacting instead of dictating. Too many of Murray's tackles come after the damage is already done, 5, 6, 7 yards downfield, when an offense has already won the snap. Those are not drive-killing plays. They are not momentum-shifting moments. They are cleanup duty. When you study his snaps closely, the lack of high-impact plays becomes impossible to ignore. There are very few moments where Murray blows up a run at the line of scrimmage, drops into coverage and takes away a passing lane, or makes a decisive read that forces an offense to adjust. Athleticism is there, and that is undeniable. He can run, he can hit, and he looks the part. But football at this level is not just about speed and strength. It is about instincts, anticipation, angles, and trust in what you are seeing before the play fully develops. Right now, Murray is consistently late to those moments, and that lateness is costing the defense yards, first downs, and ultimately points. Coverage has been a major concern. Opposing quarterbacks know exactly where to look when they need an easy completion, and too often that window exists right behind the linebackers. Murray struggles to get proper depth in zone, he bites on play action, and he does not close throwing lanes quickly enough. Against the run, the issues are just as pronounced. Poor fits, hesitation at the line, and missed opportunities to meet runners before they build momentum have turned manageable downs into chunk gains. Even when he is paired with Logan Wilson on partial snaps, the overall effect does not change. The defense remains softer in the middle than it can afford to be, especially against physical offenses. At some point, the coaching staff has to confront a difficult truth. Kenneth Murray appears to have reached his ceiling. What you see now is likely what you are going to get, and that is not enough for a team with championship aspirations. This is where alternatives need to be seriously considered. Logan Wilson offers steadiness and awareness, and while he may not be flashy, he understands positioning and angles in a way that stabilizes a defense. Then there is Shamar James, a younger, rawer option, but one whose upside is undeniable. James plays with urgency. He triggers downhill with conviction, and even when he makes mistakes, they are aggressive mistakes. At this stage of the season, potential and growth may be more valuable than clinging to a veteran whose presence is actively limiting what the defense can become. The issues do not stop with individual players. The defensive scheme itself is under a microscope, and rightfully so. Matt Eberflus has installed a system built around the philosophy of bend but don't break. In theory, it is designed to limit explosive plays, force offenses to string together long drives, and capitalize on mistakes. The problem is that this defense is not just bending. It is snapping in the most critical moments. Allowing 4 touchdowns in a game without forcing a single turnover is not bad luck. It is a systemic failure. When a defense cannot generate takeaways, cannot flip the field, and cannot deliver a timely stop, the entire team feels the pressure. Blitzing has been inconsistent and, at times, baffling. The Cowboys blitz roughly 26% of the time, just below league average, but numbers alone do not tell the full story. It is not just about how often you blitz. It is about who you send, when you send them, and how well it aligns with the coverage behind it. Too often, Dallas blitzes feel predictable or mistimed, allowing quarterbacks to identify the pressure pre-snap and exploit the vacated space. Players like Osa Odigizwa have shown they can disrupt plays when used creatively, yet they are rarely featured in high-leverage blitz packages. Shamar James flashes playmaking ability when given opportunities, but he remains underutilized, stuck on the fringe of the game plan. Ironically, Kenneth Murray may actually be more effective as a blitzer than in coverage, yet the scheme continues to place him in situations that expose his weaknesses. Zone coverage remains the default, conservative approach, even when it fails repeatedly to produce results. This reluctance to adapt has become a recurring theme across multiple seasons, and it is eroding confidence among fans. When the players capable of making plays are not put in positions to succeed, it becomes difficult to trust the system itself. Special teams, often overlooked, are quietly costing the Cowboys games. The issues here are not always dramatic, but they are relentless. Penalties on returns, missed assignments in coverage, and ineffective blocking schemes consistently rob the team of field position. A return that should have set the offense up near midfield suddenly becomes a drive starting inside the 20 because of a holding call or a blown block. Over the course of a season, those hidden yards add up, and they put extra strain on an offense that already struggles to start fast. Adjustments on special teams are overdue. That could mean shuffling personnel, redefining roles, or giving players like Sam Williams more responsibility in these units. What cannot continue is the pattern of repeating the same mistakes and expecting different results. In close games, special teams often serve as the difference between winning and losing, and right now, the Cowboys are losing that battle far too often. Offensively, the slow starts are becoming impossible to ignore. Under Brian Schottenheimer, the Cowboys have leaned heavily on a run-first approach early in games, even when matchups suggest a more aggressive passing script would be effective. The results have been predictable. Early deficits force the offense into catch-up mode, compressing the playbook and increasing pressure on the quarterback. In recent games, the Cowboys found themselves trailing 6-3 after the first quarter, down 21-0 midway through the second, and behind 14-7 early against elite opponents like the Chiefs. These are not small margins. They shape the entire game. When an offense fails to generate early momentum, it does more than just put points on the board. It exposes the defense to extended drives, increases time of possession for the opponent, and accelerates fatigue. Mistakes become magnified. Protection breakdowns, missed throws, and turnovers carry heavier consequences because there is no cushion to absorb them. This cycle has repeated itself too often this season, and it is a major reason the Cowboys find themselves constantly chasing games instead of controlling them. The secondary remains another area of concern, particularly at cornerback. Trayvon Diggs, when healthy and locked in, has the ability to completely change a game. He can erase elite receivers and create turnovers that swing momentum instantly. But inconsistency has plagued him, and injuries have limited his availability. Unlocking the best version of Diggs requires trust and smart deployment from the coaching staff, choosing moments where his strengths can shine without exposing the defense unnecessarily. Savion Revel has shown flashes of reliability, offering a steadier presence in coverage. Other options like Kalen Carson and Jordan Lewis have struggled to consistently deliver at a high level. Finding the right combination of starters and depth is critical, especially in a division where opposing offenses are quick to exploit even the smallest lapse in coverage. These decisions are chess moves, and right now, the Cowboys are often reacting instead of anticipating. As the season progresses, the bigger picture becomes clearer. This is a team defined by inconsistency. There are moments where everything clicks, where the talent shines through and the Cowboys look like contenders. But those moments are too often overshadowed by poor starts, conservative decisions, and a refusal to adapt when the game demands it. The defensive struggles against the run, the lack of turnovers, and the breakdowns in coverage are symptoms of a deeper issue, one rooted in scheme and utilization. Special teams continue to undermine progress with hidden yardage losses that rarely make headlines but always show up on the scoreboard. Offensively, the inability to establish tempo early forces the team into uncomfortable situations, increasing the likelihood of mistakes and limiting creativity. All of this places enormous strain on a roster that should be capable of much more. Before we go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Your support helps us continue bringing you in-depth Cowboys coverage, and we want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Now, whispers are beginning to ripple through league circles, and this is where things get truly interesting. According to multiple insiders, linebacker CJ Mosley has reportedly signed with the Dallas Cowboys. Nothing has been officially announced by the team, but the buzz inside the organization suggests this move is very real. If confirmed, this could represent a seismic shift for a defense searching for identity, leadership, and stability. CJ Mosley's reputation speaks for itself. He is known as a field general, a player who diagnoses offenses before the snap and communicates adjustments with authority. For years, he has been the kind of presence that elevates everyone around him, not just through play, but through preparation and accountability. Analysts are already speculating that his arrival could allow the Cowboys to reshape their defensive philosophy, moving away from passive reactions and toward a more assertive, disciplined approach. There is quiet talk that the coaching staff is already considering tweaks to the alignment, envisioning how Mosley's instincts against the run and sharpness in zone coverage could free up younger players to play faster and more aggressively. His football IQ could allow Dallas to disguise looks they previously avoided, adding a layer of complexity that has been missing. Inside the locker room, the energy is reportedly shifting. Younger defenders see the potential signing as a statement of intent, while veterans welcome a stabilizing force at a critical moment. If Mosley does indeed put on the star, the ripple effects could be profound. Kenneth Murray's role would almost certainly change. Logan Wilson and Shamar James could benefit from clearer responsibilities. Blitz packages could become more effective with a linebacker who understands timing and leverage. The entire defense could gain clarity, something it has sorely lacked. Ultimately, the Cowboys are at a crossroads. The talent is there, but talent alone does not win games. Strategic execution, personnel decisions, and situational awareness must improve immediately. That may mean benching underperforming veterans, trusting younger players, or taking calculated risks that challenge the comfort zone of the coaching staff. Fans are watching closely, and patience is wearing thin. If adjustments are made, this season can still be salvaged. If not, the same mistakes will continue to define critical moments, and the questions surrounding this team will only grow louder. Confidence in the coaching staff is being tested weekly, and every decision carries weight. The next few games will reveal whether this team is capable of evolving or destined to repeat the same frustrating patterns. That's it for today's update, Cowboys Nation. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay up to date with everything happening around the Dallas Cowboys, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate every single one of you, and we'll see you in the next video.